In 1997, Corn Belt Power Cooperative in Humboldt, Iowa will celebrate its 50th anniversary. At this milepost, Corn Belt Power looks back on a proud history of reliable service as power supplier to its member cooperatives. Corn Belt Power Cooperative, a powerful partnership for 50 years.
During the early 1930s, most of rural America was cloaked in darkness. Electricity was a luxury available only to city folks and farmers who lived near urban areas. Rural people knew that electricity could enhance their quality of life, so they created new entities, rural electric cooperatives, that would transform the way of life in rural America. But large power companies, unable to see the potential in serving rural Iowa, wouldn't sell electricity at times of peak use. Co-ops were desperate to find a reliable source of power.
At the Wakanza Hotel in Fort Dodge on February 10, 1937, John Carmody from the Rural Electrification Administration announced that the REA had allotted funds for 2 generating plants to serve the 9 RECs in north central Iowa. With Carmody's announcement, 2 generation and transmission cooperatives were the first in the nation to receive REA funds for electric generation. Central Electric Federated Cooperative Association, more commonly called Central, was formed by the partnership of Western cooperatives that decided to locate their headquarters and generating plant at Pocahontas. The cooperatives from the eastern area formed Federated Cooperative Power Association, known as Federated, with its generating plant near Hampton.
In the early 40s, shortages of power due to increased use on the farm required REC managers to impose blackouts on their members at times of peak load. Farmers who suddenly found themselves plunged into darkness were not fond of the practice. A different solution needed to be found. Both Central and Federated needed a larger source of generation to draw from. A merger was necessary, so on August 29, 1947, Corn Belt Power Cooperative was created. Ben Jaspers was elected president of the board, and Henry Hope was hired as the cooperative's first general manager.
A steam-powered generating plant needed to be built. A location on the banks of the Des Moines River near Humboldt seemed a perfect choice. In October of 1948, construction of Humboldt Station was begun, and the plant came online in 1950. While Corn Belt's capacity was growing, so was its membership, with new members in the 50s and early 60s.
Changes were coming fast and furious in 1954. In June, Corn Belt's board decided to build a $7 million steam plant in northwestern Iowa near Spencer. The plant was named after the late Earl F. Wisdom, Corn Belt's longtime attorney. Wisdom Station came online in 1960. Corn Belt's office facilities also grew. On March 28, 1958, groundbreaking took place for the new headquarters building, located just north of Humboldt County REC. Communications capabilities also needed to grow with the cooperative. In 1959, microwave equipment was purchased that extended the coverage of the more traditional two-way radio system.
Corn Belt's powerful partnerships were not limited to its member cooperatives. In the early 60s, Corn Belt joined with 5 other power suppliers in the Iowa Power Pool. By operating in close cooperation, each could benefit from power pooling and energy exchanges. Corn Belt's leaders knew that access to hydropower, although at that time more expensive than Wisdom Station energy, would add a reliable, renewable source of electricity to the co-op. On April 1, 1963, Corn Belt received its first hydropower from the U.S. Bureau of Reclamation. Today, hydropower's low cost makes it one of the most desirable sources of generation.
Richard Buckner assumed the general manager's post at Corn Belt in August of 1964. He was manager during the terms of Presidents R.R. Sajeka and Eldo Mine. System reliability was a priority for Buckner. He saw the need to upgrade the cooperative's transmission system, and late in 1964, Corn Belt received a loan from the RAA for the project. More than 30 years later, this concentration on system improvement continues to show Corn Belt's commitment to providing quality service to its members.
On December 31st of 1965, the North Iowa Municipal Electric Cooperative Association, NYMECA, representing 12 municipal utilities and 32,000 consumers, became a member of Corn Belt, creating a valuable partnership for both organizations.
Storms are an unpleasant fact of life in the utility business. In 1966, a March 22nd snowstorm caused Corn Belt to postpone its annual meeting. Ice, wind, and snow broke close to 100 poles, damaged conductors, and downed miles of line.
Corn Belt has always been committed to fostering industrial growth on REC lines. Started in 1965, the Corn Belt Technical Park near Spencer was the first industrial park in the Midwest created by a utility for economic development. Today, the 15 industries located there employ more than 900 people.
In May of 1968, officials of Corn Belt, Iowa Electric Light and Power Company, which is today's IES Utilities, and Central Iowa Power Cooperative became partners in the Duane Arnold Energy Center. This was the first time in the history of the nation's electric power industry that investor-owned utilities and generation cooperatives would share ownership of a nuclear plant. Proving itself an innovator nationally on other fronts as well, in 1970, Corn Belt developed the REC logo and common identification program that was soon adopted by the NRECA. The color scheme of bright yellow, green, and white enhanced the image and recognition of RECs nationwide.
Powerful, innovative partnerships were again created in 1972 when the Mid-Continent Area Power Pool was formed. Corn Belt signed the pooling agreement to receive the expanded benefits of a larger power pool. Energy sales continued the annual upward climb. So in 1973, Corn Belt entered into partnership with Iowa Power and Light, later to become Mid-American Energy Company, in the construction of a coal-fired generating plant near Council Bluffs. Later that year, Corn Belt signed up to receive power from another coal-fired unit, named Neal 4, to be built near Sioux City by Iowa Public Service Company, which today is part of Mid-American Energy. In May of 1975, Corn Belt and Iowa Public Service agreed to operate their two dispatch systems as one in an effort to hold down costs. NYMECA joined in this joint dispatch later that fall.
On November 1st of 1976, George Toyne, Assistant General Manager, was promoted to the manager's post. Warren Snell was president at that time. The same year, Corn Belt broke a record by providing over 1 billion kilowatt hours to its members. The record sales growth did not continue, however. From 1977 to 1987, uncertainty faced every segment of the utility industry. Fuel costs, interest rates, and inflation continued their steady march upward, but power use did not. Need for facilities continued to grow, however, so in 1982, construction of a new service center began in Hampton.
In 1984, the crisis in agriculture was being directly reflected in all rural businesses, including RECs. Energy sales were suffering. Committed to serving its member cooperatives, Corn Belt responded to decreased sales with a campaign to promote electric water heaters and encourage electric heating. Increased commercial and industrial load continued to be targeted. And in December of 1985, Corn Belt worked with partners NIPCO and SIPCO to create the Iowa Area Development Group to attract and keep commercial and industrial loads on REC lines.
Nature left its mark on 1986. On July 28th, a tornado struck Neal 4, leaving in its wake $25 million in damages. On that same evening, a summer storm damaged the roof and cooling towers of Wisdom Station. The ice storm of 1991 will long be remembered as one of the worst in the history of the cooperative. On October 31st, the storm hit north-central Iowa, knocking more than 30 substations out of service and breaking more than 250 transmission poles.
When the Chicago Northwestern rail line serving Humboldt Station was abandoned in the early 90s, the steam plant was placed in extended outage after more than 40 years of service.
The Corn Belt Board of Directors voted in 1992 to adopt a newly developed national logo, a decision that emphasized unity with the country's other electric cooperatives. In 1994, Dale Ahrens, previously Assistant General Manager, was named to succeed Toyne as General Manager. Eugene Drager continued as President. That same year, Corn Belt's headquarters received a major renovation and a new look.
Economic development continued to have a major positive impact on Corn Belt during 1996. Since 1985, Corn Belt had increased its commercial and industrial load by more than 80%. This increased industrial load and the continued need for excellent reliability resulted in several construction projects involving both new lines and substations in 1996.
Just as Corn Belt's first directors were committed to electrifying rural Iowa, today the cooperative continues to invest in improving the quality of life for the people it serves. As the 21st century approaches, Wisdom Station has state-of-the-art control equipment and operates with the environmental awareness of the Clean Air Act. Duane Arnold Energy Center just recorded the fourth longest ever operation run for a nuclear plant. Neal 4 and Council Bluffs 3 continue to be among the most efficient and lowest-cost coal-fired plants in the country.
New transmission lines and substations keep the reliability of power delivered by Corn Belt to its members well past the 99% mark. Economic development programs encourage construction of spec buildings, housing projects, and other joint ventures with member co-ops. Marketing programs continue to offer incentives for installing energy-efficient electric heating and cooling technologies.
As its first 50 years come to a close, Corn Belt Power Cooperative stands strong as a power supplier and committed partner, serving more than 32,000 homes, farms, and industries, plus 20,000 municipal customers. This achievement can be attributed to individuals with far-reaching vision who created the cooperative 50 long years ago, and to the dedicated people since that time who have worked to make it strong. In the future, Corn Belt Power Cooperative will continue to create innovative partnerships.
The vision and dedication of its people will remain invaluable assets for its future success as it continues on its course of being a powerful partnership committed to the spirit of cooperation.